Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at petty revenges. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. I torpedoed a dude's entire career because he was a bully. So to preface, I know I'm something of a nepo baby, but it is what it is. My mum is incredibly successful in a very niche but very lucrative field of business. This allowed my dad to be a stay-at-home dad and for me and my siblings to get a good education. When I graduated from college, I decided to go into the same field as my mum. While I love her and our relationship is good, I very much did not want to only be viewed as her kid or receive special treatment due to how well regarded she is. So I used my dad's surname and generally keep who my mum is to myself. I also avoided coming to work for her. In my field and country, it's generally accepted that people are hired for a trial period, at the end of which either the employee or the employer can cut ties with no fines or compensation required. So anyway, I went to work at one company. Again, I'll remind you, very niche market, very few employment opportunities. I went in for my trial period and everyone seemed pretty happy with me. I put out some flyers and one superior describes me as a workhouse because I'm first to the office, last out the door. It goes pretty well, except for one colleague in my team. This dude is a huge jerk. I'm a bit of a people pleaser and try to be on good terms with everyone, but jerk will have none of it. Dude is incredibly rude. He keeps being confrontational. Like if a colleague, not just me, was getting any sort of acknowledgement, jerk would belittle them and their accomplishment. If someone was saying they had a rough time with something, jerk would pop up going, "Oh yeah, I did that a while back. It was super easy." Whenever someone tried talking about future plans with me, jerk would go, "Oh yeah, we'll see about that." He also apparently says some very unkind things about my appearance and masculinity, but those at least he had decency to say behind my back, I suppose, and I only learned about them later. You know what? I'd rather someone say it to my face than behind my back. Thank you. So I know what kind of person they are and I can just avoid them without even being nice to them, right? But honestly, if your colleague is like this, what a nightmare. Like, dude was incredibly mean for apparently no reason except trying to make himself look better by making everyone else look worse. This one thing wasn't true to me specifically because I'm male, but his meanness seemed to apply especially to women. A few comments were about how working in this field isn't for mums and they should be raising kids or whatever, and some other very bad stuff. But management seemed pretty content keeping him around because apparently he was a pretty good worker and they liked that he was ambitious. Fine. My trial period ends. I'm offered a permanent position but decide this is not the place for me as I don't love being anybody's workhorse and have very little interest in sticking around in Jerk's vicinity. I respectfully informed them I would not be sticking around and go find work elsewhere. On my last day, I come to say goodbye. Management says they're sorry to see me go. Colleagues wish me well and say they're gonna miss me. Jack goes, "Ha, I told you he wasn't gonna stick around. Good riddance. Maybe this field isn't for you either." Very loudly. I leave. I'm not confrontational and I don't have to deal with him anymore anyway, so I just go. Some time goes by. I'm now employed elsewhere. I'm happy and doing well. I love my work and my colleagues. I've been promoted and I don't really think about Jack anymore, except apparently there's a relative influx of applicants from Jack's company. Whatever. My boss knows I did a trial period over there, so whenever an applicant comes up, he asks me about my experience with them. There are very few people I dislike, so when asked, I usually give my honest opinion, which is usually very positive. But guess whose application we suddenly receive? It's Jack. My boss asks for my opinion and I say, "Look, I have personal feelings about this person and I can't be objective." Boss knows just how positive I usually am about basically everyone, asks me what's up and eventually I tell him everything. Jack obviously doesn't get hired. I assume that's the end of that. A few days later, we have a family dinner. My mum goes, "Wait, you had a trial period at that company, right? Do you know Jack?" Well, my mum knew there was a person I really didn't get along with at that company and the shitty things they did. I tell her it was him. Obviously, she ain't gonna hire him either, especially given his views on women. So my company ends up hiring one of Jack's company's former workers. Me and her are on great terms, and this is how I discover what happened there. Jack got promoted and that made a bunch of people want to leave. This caused management to look into why, and why strong applicants were leaving after the trial period was over. Turned out it was because of Jack. Someone had a talk with him and from what I gather, he was not receptive to criticism. He was let go. This was when he applied to the company I work for and to my mum's. From what I understand, he no longer works in our field, but unfortunately I have no idea what he does do. We'll update if I find out. Bruh, karma. That's crazy. Imagine getting promoted and everyone is against that and then they leave because you're getting promoted. Yeah, that must mean you're a terrible person. I just wish they saw each other face to face again so this person could have been like, "Huh, I told you you weren't gonna stick around. Maybe this job isn't for you." Let your teenager kick me for a 9-hour flight, get stuck on the plane extra long. Yesterday, I was flying to America from the UK and a mother and a parent 18-year-old daughter were sitting next to me. She looked younger, but the mother gave her alcohol during the flight that she had ordered, so who knows. The whole flight, the daughter had her shoes off and kept elbowing and kicking me with her stinky sock feet while talking loudly. At one point, I was asleep and the daughter kicked me awake and slapped me with her jacket. Right before landing, the two of them were physically fighting, play or not. I got hit a few times and told them to be civilized. Now for my pettiness. As soon as the fasten seatbelt sign came off, they got up and obviously were trying to force their way off the plane early. I threw down my table and kept watching my program, chopping them, and I told them patience is a virtue, would be last off anyway. They were not pleased. When the rows in front were clearing out, I waited till the last second to close up, and as I got my bag out of the overhead, I put it on my seat, blocking them again, and accidentally hit the daughter with my jacket on the way out of the overhead, keeping her back. There was a very large family behind us that made their way behind me in the aisle, blocking them again. I didn't see them at baggage till 5 minutes after I made it. Didn't affect them a lot, but sure made me feel good. It's the little things. I thought they were going to talk about like a kid, like, you know, a teenager, as in like a 13-year-old or something. 18-year-old? Oh, what a nightmare. That's crazy. How do your kids not even know basic manners? You know, if your kid does that, you just know you failed as a parent. I didn't even leave him a fork. My brother is 53 and has lived off of our parents his whole life. He's never bought his own car or paid off his own rent. He's never even paid his own child support. Our mom died a couple of years ago and his behavior really spiraled. He had always been a violent drunk, and after her death, he was always drunk. He also became more and more abusive to our dad. When he was finally arrested, I was able to step in and take care of Dad for the last 5 months of his life. I had tried before, but the fog of abuse was too dense, and my dad couldn't admit his son had betrayed him like that. Over the months, my dad shook free of that fog and wanted me to throw everything of my brother's away. He wanted him to get nothing from him ever again. I didn't toss his stuff, I just put it in the storage building. Dad changed his will to leave the land to my nephew, brother's 10-year-old son, and everything else divided between bro and me, I thought. After he died, I found out that the land was deeded to nephew and everything else went to me. 20 minutes after my brother found out about my dad's death, he showed up to throw me out of the trailer. He also tried to get me into the bank and change the funeral so he could get the death certificate. The lawyer told me I did have to get out, but I was okay to take everything and move it into storage if I chose to. So I did. Our cousins were happy to help. My kids and husband also joined in, and in 4 days we were able to get 99.99% of the stuff moved out. Dad didn't want brother to have anything, and I left him nothing, not even a fork. I turned off the power, the water, the trash, and the internet. His car will be repossessed if he can't get it refinanced, and he'll lose the trailer if he doesn't get mortgage to cover what's owed. He works 2 to 3 days a week making pizza, so the banks may be reluctant. I have a ton of stuff I don't need in 2 giant storages, but my real inheritance is knowing that I get to watch my brother figure out how to grow up at 53. That's wild. And the fact that he only shows up after the dad dies? Disgusting. How are you 53 and this is your life? Oh, well, I'm just glad he didn't get anything. He was abusive to his own dad when his dad probably gave him everything. Yeah, messed up. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.